Hello, welcome to the Zest pelvic floor muscle training course. The gentleman standing next to me, it's a gentleman, by the way, his name's Pedro. He's necessary for me to explain a little bit more about our bodies and how that affects pelvic floor muscle training. That's why he's here, just in case you're wondering. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Pauline Lacey, and I'm proprietor of Zest Ladies Health and Fitness. Pedro's just giving you a wave there. I've been doing pelvic floor muscle training for 3 years, running courses within the gym. Generally it's very much based upon ladies. Ladies are the people who come to the courses in the main, but it's an incredibly important course for gentlemen as well. So with the opportunity that lockdown has given us to work online, I think the pelvic floor muscle training course is ideal for online, because gentlemen, away from the scrutiny of us ladies, can actually get involved in what is a most important way of improving your pelvic floor. So why do we need it? Well, after the age of 40, around about 20%, particularly women, are suffering from some form of pelvic floor dysfunction. So that might be as a result of childbirth, very often is. And as we get through into our 50s, 60s, 70s and up to our 80s, that figure gradually goes up to almost 60% of people, particularly ladies, who are having a problem with pelvic floor. I think that's an unbelievably high statistic, and it's the second reason why people will go into nursing homes. Again, particularly us ladies, why we would go into nursing homes is because of incontinence. And throughout the course of your life, if your pelvic floor isn't what it should be, and you're suffering in some minor form or worse, because some people have prolapses, and that is very unpleasant, you can actually help yourself to get a little bit better. So when we get to that ripe old age, maybe we won't have that big problem. Okay, so I really believe in it. I think that the course will help you understand how you're made, what muscles and joints are important to creating a strong pelvic floor. And if you practice, once you know the techniques on a daily basis, and trust me, you can actually do it anywhere, anytime. You can even put an app on your phone that tells you when to actually practice with your pelvic floor. So it actually can just say to you, do it now. And for 5 minutes you can practice all the various exercises that we've actually shown you how to do in this course, and just practice it for a few minutes a day. And that is the secret to having a healthy pelvic floor, is the practice makes perfect. Okay? And just one last little bit of information which I think is really useful for everybody to think about, and that is the control of your bladder. Now, I think many of us, I think I'm the same, or I used to be anyway, you go to the toilet a little bit too much, especially when we're about to go out, especially when we think, oh, we'll do that job, but we'll have a wee before we do it. I think we're all going to the toilet a little bit too much, a little bit too regularly. So the bladder becomes weak and lazy, and if we leave it longer in between, that's going to help us to stop needing the toilet so often. It really does make a difference. So if I give you a couple of statistics there, you probably can get to 3/4 of a pint of liquid before you need to empty your bladder. And that relates to, depending on how much you drink, obviously, everything's slightly relative, but roughly 7 times a day that we're recommending that you go to the toilet, rather than 10, 12, 15 times a day. And also, when you do go for a wee, gentlemen and ladies, around about 15 to 20 seconds of flow is what you should be thinking that you need. So if you're not, and if it's like a couple of seconds, you're definitely making those trips to the toilet a lot too frequent. So try to practice not going to the toilet so often. Maybe perhaps not when you're about to go out, that's understandable, but if you're in the house for long periods of time, then it may be an idea to try and train your bladder a little bit more whilst you've got the opportunity to do that. Also, if you've got, and you know you've got, quite a significant pelvic floor dysfunction, caffeine will not help you. So if you love your coffee, I would say cut it down if you've got a problem with your pelvic floor. It's a known diuretic, and if you're about to go out or exercise, definitely avoid it. And that's quite good advice and may well help you in the future. Okay, so we'll have a break, and when you come back, it'll be about me and Pedro explaining how you're made. So, the anatomy. And for this we need Pedro, and we need his bones. So we're going to show you on Pedro the bits we're going to concentrate on. This is the pelvis, and that's the most important part. So this bony structure, this whole bony structure, is the pelvis. Within the bony structure, we have a network of muscles, which is what we're concentrating on in the course to a large extent. At the front of the pelvis is the pubic bone. That's important, remember it. Okay? From the pubic bone up to underneath the rib cage forms a network of muscles called the core. Six-pack, I wish. Six-pack, six-pack. Network of muscles for the tummy. Also very important. So we're going to turn him round. So as you can see, we've made him some muscles because he hasn't got any. So this yellow band represents two incredibly important muscles called the latissimus dorsi, or we call them the lats, for nice and ease of anatomy. So, there's his muscles, that's his coccyx. It's at the bottom of your spine, right underneath your bottom. Used to be your tail apparently. So, the coccyx is important, and these two here, this bony mass here, is the pelvic bones. So, the pelvic bones, or the sitting bones, are really important. And if you could, if you're sitting at the moment watching me, find those pelvic bones. When you're sitting on a chair, you should feel them sticking into your hands. You can sit on them, they're your sitting bones. So remember where they are, they're important. Okay, coccyx, pelvic bones. So just imagine something for a second. You've heard talk about how everything is always connected to something else. And this is so true. So these muscles here are holding the pelvis nice and stable. Should these muscles be uneven, you're going to get a situation where the pelvis can be tilted. So you'll be tight here and loose here. Let's stabilise those and have those nice and even. From the bottom of the pelvis, you're going into your hamstrings, back of your knees, all the way down into your calves, and muscles connecting your hip to the pelvis as well. If your pelvis is uneven there, we're going to have problems potentially with hips, hamstrings, knees, ankles, feet. Because everything wants to be stable, it needs to be stable. This course will help you stabilise your pelvis. So in addition to the benefits of pelvic floor muscle training for the reason why we're here, which is to help you with any incontinence problems or future incontinence problems, we're also going to help you stabilise your pelvis and reduce or help with hip, knee and other pains associated with the lower body. It's a win-win situation. So, from Pedro and me, we'd like to say cheerio for now. We are going to be introducing the course to you over 6 weeks. You'll have homework, sorry to sound so bossy, but it's really useful because it'll help reinforce the specific areas of week 1 to 6 that you need to concentrate on to move on to the next stage. So you'll get some homework, some handouts, and if during the course of the 6 weeks you stop understanding a little bit about how we're made, just refresh this introduction because it'll help you to remember where everything is and why everything is so important. So we'll say cheerio for now and we'll see you on week 1.